On a freezing winter night in February 2004, a 21-year-old college student crashed her car on a lonely road in Haverhill, New Hampshire. A local school bus driver stopped to help. She was shaken, but alive. He told her she had already called for help. He went home and called police anyway. But when officers arrived just minutes later, Maura Murray was gone. No confirmed sighting, no clear trail, no answers. More than 2 decades later, her disappearance remains one of America's most haunting, unsolved mysteries. Maura Murray was a nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. She had also previously attended West Point. By all public accounts, she was bright, athletic, and disciplined. But parts of her life seemed unsettled. Then, on Monday, February 9, 2004, she quietly left campus without telling most people where she was going. She emailed her professors and work supervisor saying she would be away for about a week because of a death in the family. Later, her family said no such death had occurred. That lie has become one of the unsettling details in the case, because it suggests Maura was planning a sudden trip and wanted no one to stop her. Earlier that same day, surveillance footage captured Maura at an ATM. According to the FBI, this is the last confirmed footage of her before she disappeared. She withdrew cash, and reports from later coverage say she also bought alcohol that afternoon before driving north in her black Saturn sedan. What matters is this. She left Amherst on purpose. This was not a random detour. She had packed some belongings, got money, and got on the road. But where exactly she intended to go and why she felt she needed to leave so suddenly remain central questions in the mystery. Then came the crash. At approximately 7:30 p.m., Maura's Saturn went off snowy Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, and became stuck. The area was dark, cold, and rural. A local resident called police. Around that same time, a school bus driver named Butch Atwood stopped and spoke with the young woman at the car. He later said she seemed shaken but not visibly injured. According to later reporting, he told her he was going to call police. By the time authorities arrived, Maura was no longer there. Her car remained at the scene, but Maura had vanished into the winter night. And that is the moment this case becomes almost impossible to forget. Because Maura did not vanish from a city. She did not disappear into a crowded train station or an airport or a festival. She disappeared from the side of a road in a tight window of time after being seen alive just moments earlier. 1 minute she was there, the next she was gone. No one has ever been able to say with certainty where she went in those missing minutes. At first glance, some people assume she simply ran into the woods and never came out. It sounds plausible until you think harder. Search efforts began quickly, and over the years the area around the crash site has been searched repeatedly. Authorities and volunteers have returned again and again. Large-scale searches took place later as well, including a major search in 2022, yet no confirmed evidence has resolved the case. That does not prove what happened to her, but it does destroy the lazy assumption that this mystery was solved by nature and everyone just missed it. If the answer were simple, this case would not still be open. In fact, New Hampshire's Cold Case Unit still lists Maura Murray as an active, suspicious disappearance. The FBI has also kept her case public, and in February 2024, authorities released a new age progression image showing what Maura might look like today. That matters. Cases do not receive that kind of continuing attention unless law enforcement still believes answers may exist. This is not a closed story. It is an unresolved one. Over the years, 3 broad possibilities have dominated public discussion. The first is that Maura left on her own and somehow disappeared by accident after the crash. Maybe she panicked. Maybe she wanted to avoid police contact. But the problem is obvious. Despite years of attention, no definitive evidence has ever confirmed that scenario.
The second theory is that Maura accepted a ride from someone passing through that area and met with foul play. This theory remains powerful because of the location. Route 112 that night was quiet, dark, and isolated. If she wanted to get away from the crash scene before police arrived, getting into a vehicle may have seemed the fastest option. Her family has long leaned toward the belief that she encountered another person after the crash, but belief is not proof, and that is the brutal reality of this case. There are theories, but no confirmed final chain of events. The third possibility is that Maura intended to vanish for a while, perhaps just to escape pressure, and something went wrong later. This theory exists because of the strange preparation before she left, the email excuse, the cash withdrawal, the sudden drive north, the lack of clear explanation. But again, the theory has limits. And this is where many people get the case wrong. They treat mystery like evidence. They grab one clue, build a whole theory around it, and then defend it like a religion. But a real investigation needs facts, not fan fiction. So what do we actually know? We know Maura was 21 years old. We know she left UMass Amherst on February 9, 2004. We know she emailed school and work with a false family death excuse. We know she was seen on surveillance footage at an ATM earlier that day. We know her black Saturn crashed on Route 112 around 7:30 that evening. We know a bus driver spoke to the driver at the scene. We know police arrived shortly after, and she was gone. We know she has not been seen or heard from since. And we know the case remains open and active. Everything beyond that enters a fog of possibilities rather than certainty.
That fog is exactly why the case endures. Because this mystery does not give you a body, a confession, a final phone call, a proven suspect, or a neat ending. It gives you fragments. A young woman under stress, a secret trip, a snowy road, a brief witness encounter, an abandoned car, then silence. The human mind hates silence. It wants a clean answer, but real life is crueler than fiction. Sometimes the most terrifying cases are not the bloodiest or the loudest. Sometimes they are the ones where a person simply steps out of sight and never comes back. Even after 20 years, investigators say tips still come in. Searches have continued, dead ends have been followed. In 2019, a basement near the crash site was searched and yielded nothing connected to the case. In 2022, law enforcement carried out another large-scale search in the area. In 2024, officials again renewed attention with an age-progressed image. All of that tells you one thing. This case is not forgotten by the people who matter most. It is still being worked because someone out there may still know something. And maybe that is the most unsettling part of all. Not that Maura disappeared, but that someone, somewhere, may already know exactly how it happened. Maybe it was a stranger who offered help on a dark road. Maybe it was a chance encounter that turned fatal. Maybe it was something nobody around her ever saw coming. Or maybe the truth is simpler and sadder than all the theories built around her name. But until that truth is proven, Maura Murray remains suspended in time, forever 21, forever walking out of the known world and into one of the most haunting unanswered disappearances in modern American history. So here is the question that still grips this case after all these years. What happened in those missing minutes between the crash and the arrival of police? That gap is the entire mystery. That gap is where every theory begins, and that gap is why Maura Murray's story still refuses to let people go. What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments, and if you want more unsolved mysteries, subscribe to Case Vault.